Well, welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. Corked Stats, the fastest freaking show in MLB. Absolutely anywhere. With your boy, Big Johnny Stud, coming to you worldwide. Brooklyn, New York, as always, coming out the damn chair as always. Good to see you on this Freaky Friday. Freaky. I'm getting freaky deaky. What's going on, mi gente? Piling up in the comment section. Appreciate you hanging out with us here yet again. Gosh, I am so tired. I was up at the Source Network guys last night. Shout out Kyle and the brave little Toaster. I got you. Oh, man, Toasty is the fucking man, my brother from another mother. Shout out that whole crew and everybody up with us on this lovely morning. Jeff L. doesn't work for me, brother. It doesn't work for me, brother. Rose Bebe, good to see you, my friend. Hope you had a wonderful one. USMC, we salute you, playa. Monsieur Toronto, no block up in the piece and nose, of course, looking to sniff out some fucking winners. All right, enough of that bullshit. It's MLB's version of 300. Give the book nothing. Take from that bitch everything. It ain't madness, baby.
This is Sparta!
You're damn right it is. All right, let's get into this fucking thing. Doing the thing we do, me and you, the Corked Stats crew, going to try and be as fast as possible. It never works. Though, you know, on the watch back, it's only taken me like fucking 5 years to get this shit on the wraps. Well, I guess the YouTube show is on the newer end. To just leave the board up for you guys. I'll do my scrolling on my parallel sheets. It won't be as dizzying. Right, you could kind of refer back to the model and the totals if you want all the stats and shit. Don't be a cheap bitch your whole life. Support good people doing good work. Here we go. Rep music louder on the bump for the Red Legs. They're on the road with the wind blowing in. Very heavy underdogs on the road. To face David Peterson and the Baby Bears going for the Cubs. Minus 183. Hachi Machi Liberace. That is a monster heavy line for a guy like Peterson, though. You know, he's pitched pretty well. Can't say the same for Router. Reds also feel like they're just giving up right now, right? They DFA'd fucking Suarez, and he cleared waivers. Same for Friedel. These guys should be on a team, especially a guy like Suarez. If he gave a shit at all, he should be playing. So, like Louder, you know, first round draft capital, we haven't really seen the prince that was promised. Maybe we'll get ready to get back on board for next year. It just hasn't been great. Last 30, home road, no matter how you split it, no matter how you go after it, it's been pretty brutal. He's had trouble getting out lefties. The Cubs have a few tough ones. So flip side, Peterson's been a lot better as of lately, and the Reds haven't hit lefties for shit. Reds last 30 days versus Southpaws, 230 plate appearances of barf. Just 3 home runs, batting .212, 548 OPS, and a 263 xWOBA. You know, pretty huge mismatch here. We could probably extend that into the bullpen as well. Cubs bullpen certainly better than the Reds with some new additions. So it's expensive, but I've got the model up near a run. I kind of leaned on, you could see I have the source picks up from last night. Some of those may have moved, but I had plus 125 on the run line. That number's now down to fucking plus 110. Now, I've moved away from straight betting. I don't know if I'm going to get back on board before MLB is over. Whatever, I'm going through some personal stuff, and it's also work stuff. I don't want to be like, John's collapsing. I'm just kind of recognizing I'm on the edge of nowhere. So I'm going to just do the lotto thing. Yesterday, we took it right in the keister, yo. Right in the fucking coolie. That's what you get for parlay betting. You know, there's a reason that shit is for losers. But at the end of the day, if you look back and you're like, I'm down $1, or you're down, whatever the equivalent of 1/100th of a unit is, you're doing okay. So give me the Cubs to beat up on the Reds. I think I'm feeling pretty firm in that. If you were not buying the Peterson stuff, I think the angle would be to the over. I think we're going to get runs here. Just keep in mind, again, whenever the wind is blowing in at Wrigley, it does tend to have a pretty, decent effect. Next up, we got Dodgers and the Tigres. Tariq School-Doo. He's a very heavy favorite, minus 209 in the homecoming revenge game down in 8 Mile to face Drew Anderson and the Tigers down in Detroit Rock City. I mean, Scooble, awesome. Right, he's fine. Though, very easy to root, right? Very easy to root against. Oh, Scooble, shit, I forgot. Sorry, wrong sheet. Very easy to root against Scooble, moving to the Dodgers. But again, he's awesome. I expect him to do his thing. Tigers' offense in particular has been really kind of disappointing. For what I mean, I don't just mean to say like for whatever reason, because Riley Green is hashtag good at baseball. But it is always unusual when one single player leaves and the whole operation goes to shit. This isn't Aaron Judge we're talking about. But that's what happened. Green left in Detroit, just completely went in the tank. So I think Scooble, gets his pound of flesh. The thing I'm looking at here is this guy Anderson has been really good. And the Dodgers haven't really hit for shit. We're 2 full weeks versus righties, over 325 plate appearances. They're batting .239, 333 slug, 649 OPS. Disciplinary stuff is okay, but again, I think this is predicated on being a little too passive. They're not pulling barrel rate below 4.5. If you're ever going to go after the Dodgers, this would be the time. And again, Anderson has looked really good, pitching to a 2.88 ERA, 120 whip through his 25 innings as a starter. We love, the high CSW. He gets ahead of people, 48 ground balls, sub 30 hard hit. There's a lot to like here if you're just looking for a pitcher to, get through some clean innings without getting shellacked. So I think the Dodgers are actually doing us a favor in this one, keeping the total up at 7.5. It probably would be 8 if it wasn't, for that blue and white jersey. And again, right now they just haven't been awesome. So I think under 7.5 feels like the play for us. Both bullpens have actually pitched all right also. Again, just not really digging the offenses and, Scooble a pop to go 7 shutout, 8 shutout. So if Anderson even gets us through 5 fucking clean, we should be in a pretty good spot to get the under on this one. Next up, we got Marlins. We got Nats, my boy. Yuri Perez on the bump for the Fish. Minus 147. It's now at minus 155. Sorry, I thought I re-scraped these in the morning. Maybe I forgot. Anyway, this one opened at minus 137, and that was the entire handicap between me and Toasty last night. This is entirely too cheap. Marlins should kill today. I think they're making a good argument for the blend bet. Right, you get a piece of the Marlins, maybe paired with another favorite that we might like. I wouldn't make it the Dodgers for what it's worth. Where I think you also have a potential for run out on the run line, though the offer is not great. We talk about pricing all the time. I got into a really interesting conversation with Kyle and Toast yesterday. Kyle was off camera and actually it enticed him to do the, he's coming in from the background or whatever, about how to decide on these things. And I wish we had more time because I really love to talk to him about this stuff. But I was making the case that almost regardless of the scenario, the run offering for F5 run lines, right, to go from F5 money line to F5 run line, and then even have that apply to the full game stuff. But especially in the F5, should never be 100 cents. And that's what it is. And then, I don't know if it's conversely, but also that number changes on the money line, well, full game, excuse me, I should say, where you better be getting 100 cents. Where sometimes they try and jam you in the coolie with 50 or 60, and that's what you're getting here. So sorry to take your Mr. Toad's wild ride with that one. I probably could have did a better job explaining it, but I was up till 2 o'clock. I'm fucking old, I'm fat, I'm fucking tired. I got young kids, yo. And a smoking hot wife, by the way. But yeah, 65 cents on the offer is not great. I still think the Marlins have a chance of getting to plus money. Now that I'm a lotto parlay better, maybe I'll just, I don't know. I still think you should be a little bit conservative. I want to hit these bets, but we also want to, make a fucking difference. So I think Yuri is, obviously the clearly better pitcher. Jackson Kent, hasn't figured it out yet. So I was a little surprised, especially with the condition that the Nats bullpen is in, so I have to bring this up for you. Beater back-to-back 3 or 4. Revolta back-to-back 54 pitches. Neither one of those guys is probably going to pitch. Those are the only 2 people that can get you impactful outs, at the back end of a game. How much are you expecting to get from Kent? The 23-year-old rookie has not finished 5 innings yet, nor had a single start without giving up at least 3 earned runs. So I know the Miami offense hasn't been great. I like Heriberto Hernandez today. I like Otto Lopez today. And I just think the Miami bullpen, will do enough. So give me Miami to win this one. Again, even at minus 155, price feels a little bit short. Next up, we got Astros and Mets. Good grief. Hunter Charlie Brown on the bump, going up against Christian Great Scott, looking to go 1.21 gigawatts for the Let's Go Mets go, plus 114 at the crib. Man, I have the Mets modeled for an outright win. Brown, it's not been great, right? This isn't the guy that I've been perpetually jockeying. Hunter Brown, one of my favorite pitchers, fantasy, betting, real life, awesome stuff. The issue. And now, granted, his last 2 starts, he went 5, gave up 2, went 5 2/3, gave up 1. The issue has been distance because of the lack of command and control. He's walked 11 batters in his last 3 starts, at least 2 walks in 5 straight, at least 3 walks in 3 straight, 5 walks sandwiched in the middle, and that's kept the Ks at 5 or below each of those last 3 starts. You can't help but wonder if the injury is still kind of a concern for Brown, and I think the Mets have just been kind of sold out by the betting market. They're not bad. The offense is hitting, the bullpen is pitching really well. So when you have a guy like Scott, that at the very least is representative, I think we need to be thinking about the Mets as kind of a strong underdog. Take a look at the offenses. Mets right now better coming off the bus than the Stros. Mets versus righties. Last 2 weeks batting 267, 389 slugs, 726 OPS. Astros batting 221, 286 OBP, 646 OPS. Astros giving up 5 points of strikeout, 2 points of swing and miss, 3 points of chase, 3 points of zone contact, 50 points of xWOBA. Just not really seeing that where the Astros are getting so much love. And yeah, the bullpen's been good this season. They've been kind of crappy as of late. Astros last 49 innings pitching to a 6.4 ERA, 290 batting average allowed. Meanwhile, Mets in that same time frame, 225 ERA, 103 whip, sub 180 batting average, 29.5 K. Mets fucking bullpen is humming, brother. So, you got to give me the Mets as a fucking dog here. I forget if somebody might have mentioned the under, and I think that's a decent play too. I think Scott will do his job. I think Brown will do his job, but I'm afraid that Brown pulls another, 5 gives up 3. The bullpen is in bad shape. We have no faith in the 6th and the 7th, especially. Now, all of a sudden, we could be at, 5 or 6 runs for the Mets, where we don't want to be going under a hard 8. If this one had gotten to 8.5, it's actually now, believe it or not, it's actually at 7.5 now. That's always kind of happens to us, right? Whenever we're under, some of you people, I don't know who it is, some of you or one of you is a fucking sharp and smashes the shit out of our directional total picks. And it's always reflected in the line. I mean, that's where the challenge comes from. So, yeah, give me Metsies at a short dog and moving on. We got Padres. We got Rays. The dogs are barking, people. My boy, Casey Mize on the bump for the Friar Tucks, plus 119 dog down in Tampa to face Sugar Shane O'Mac and the Flat Fucking Fish of Florida. Toasty called me out properly. I generally am back in Shano. 310 ERA, 112 whip. He's not been bad. Not been bad at all. I worry sometimes about him working up in the zone. All the barrels allowed. Now, granted, he's been very good in that building, so this isn't really a play against Shano as much as I think Mize is just as good, and I think I like the offense for San Diego a little bit better. Again, Mize, 344 ERA, 109 whip. He's made the move over. Minnesota got to him a little bit, but I don't care. I'm really buying the dip on a guy like Mize. We have all the moving pieces with the change of environment. Kind of hard to board the moving train, but he's had a good start with San Diego. All the diagnostic stuff checks out. I think it's wheels up for Casey Mize. I think he's fucking awesome. I really do. I really, really like Casey Mize on a real, on some real shit. Sorry, I'm doing it again. I'm flipping with your sheets and not mine. Sorry. Oh, what is it? Old habits die hard, you know what I mean? All right, I wanted to take a look at the offenses here. The Tampa offense I was mentioning, last 2 weeks, they've really fallen apart. I mean, last 7 days is even worse. And I think maybe people are seeing like Tampa at home and overreacting to the record and the output, where the inputs are not nearly as strong. If you were picking an offense today, you got to take the Padres. Plus, they've hit lefties. They've looked really damn good. Padres have completely turned the bitch around. Plus, the bullpen, is humming. Right, we were waiting for the Padres to kind of reassume trajectory to get back on track. How we felt in line with all the arm talent, and like that's been the case. Padres the significantly better bullpen right now. I think they have the better offense. I think Mize is as good as Sugar Shane. So again, I got more underdogs. Kyle was busting my chops yesterday because I had a couple of run line favorites. Shout out our guy TV Jones. Let me get up in the comments really quick. Speaking of my guy TV. D-Trip, good to see you. GG Friendly, what's going on? Player Josh Dub, not a show without you, my friend. Appreciate it, everybody. Yeah, don't worry, Josh. I appreciate you, man. That door swings both ways. Cadillac, my guy, Wagwan. Caleb, what's going on? And Spoon Man on the Rays F5. I'll tell you what, let's go double result, right? Give me Rays F5 and the Padres to do it all. Again, this is why F5 betting is so fucking tricky. As much as I used to like it, because it's like ripping the Band-Aid off. If we're losing 1-0 after 5, we still like the Padres. So I hate pushing up against you guys at all, because it's not like I think you're wrong. I think he could be right. And look at the model is in total agreement that it's so close. We have this one decided by a cunt here. And when that's the case, there's a lot of 2-1s, 1-0s, 1-1s, 2-2s baked into this kind of distribution curve. So that's part of it. I still think San Diego, I think with the way it plays out, I think they're going to have just enough in all phases to get us across the finish line. Next up, what you got? What you want? We got Royals. We got Guardians. Apparently, I forgot to read. Somehow, this is another one. I found that too when I have a strong lean on a total. We know Kyle's community is hammering shit and has a very much strong tendency to affect markets. And I've been finding that anecdotally that whenever I'm on a total, that number is going to move. So that was my play. I was on the over KC versus Cleveland. Michael Waka Flocka on the bump for the Royals with cheese plus 120 dog down in Forest City to face Tanner Bybee and LaGardia. Kansas City's been hitting. The bullpen is a little bit worrisome. Toasty was trying to sell me that they've been okay lately. I don't know if I'm necessarily buying it. The Guardian bullpen is back on track. So I think if you're betting F5 and looking to get at one of those Bybee home runs that he's given up a ton of, then I think the play should be F5. I was on the over, but it was 7.5. Now I'm pretty sure we're at like a solid 8. I think I saw it before. All right, yes and no, it's flip-flopping. MGM just went back down to 7.5. So if I could get that, I think that's the play. I think that's the play that I like. Waka's been good, you know what I mean? And Bybee's okay also. Types of profiles I don't really trust, right? The indicators are all, a full run, 3/4 of a run higher. I think there's too much contact in this game. I think there's going to be too much lift in this game. And both Waka and Bybee, combined are responsible for 48 home runs allowed. Like, that's part of it. Again, they work up. They don't have great stuff. They don't have great put-away stuff. Now, Waka is very good at using his command and control to succeed with that pitch. But, I know people are jocking him. Jocking a Waka. Waka. 2.97 ERA, .92 whip last 32 days. But, whatever, the Sierra in the mid-4s, KBB at 15, I don't think it's really reflective of the true skill level. So I guess I'm just making, a regression-based bet here. But, yeah, I get it. The Cleveland bullpen is tough. Looking at it again, I guess I like the KC F5 that I was talking about. I think you could trust Waka for a few innings. And again, I don't hate Bybee, But I think the Kansas City offense is a little bit better than Cleveland right now. Last 2 weeks versus righties, they're humming. As they look up, got to be a top 8 offense versus righties. You'd like to see the power stuff pop a little bit, but they're compensating with lots of pulled fly balls, taking walks, lack of swinging miss, getting on, extra base hits, and home runs. Jack Calcs looking really fucking good in the box. So, yeah, give me Royals F5. And even though I do think they might win, modeled is at a tie, like an essential tie. I can't trust the Royals bullpen. Why would you do that? Like, this is one of those games where, one, if you're up 1-0 after 5, you're counting your fucking lucky stars that you're getting out of it. And if you're down even 1-0, I know when you're down 1-0, you always wish you had more innings to get the play home. Like, that's misframed a little bit. But like, you're not winning. You're not winning. I don't see comeback stuff against the way the Guardians are pitching compared to the way the Royals have been pitching at the back end of games. You know what I mean? Next up, we got Red Sox and we got Yankees. Shout out my guy Poods, sending me and the family to the Yankee game tomorrow. Shout out. Take a fucking bow, friend. I think it's a makeup game, first half of a doubleheader, but like, fine by me. Oh my god, you motherfucker! Look at that. I'm all fucking blur. Oh, I was gonna say I was blurry on my end, and it refocused. I thought I fixed all the camera shit. If you notice, the production value has actually been decent the last couple days. Yeah, the chat shouting out our guy Josh Dub, brother. Much love, man. Talk about you every day, kiddo. Now that I talk that shit, I almost want to fucking check it, but I feel like tomorrow is a doubleheader, and I'm wondering, what? I can't remember if they had a makeup or makeup from early June. So shout out my guy Poods. No Block asking me if I'm so good at player props. Why don't I focus them more during the show? Man, I just don't have the fucking bandwidth. But they do really well. They do really well. If thanks, come on, bro. When those do really well. I got a lot of love for the hit run ribby combos and the hit props also, like players that are listed for a base hit. Those are a pretty interesting kind of parlay also. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't necessarily have the bandwidth. I'm also really conservative. If I'm not the type to just shoot off a million plays, for me, everything has to be worked within a lot of daily risk. And then you start to get in the way of all the straight betting, which is what I was trying to focus on. It's hard. It's hard to be honest and transparent, knowing people are going to follow you without trying to get anybody fucking smoked. You know what I mean? All right, so it's Boston and New York. Patrick Sandoval on the bump for the Red Laundry. They're pretty heavy underdogs, 146 on the road against the New York Yankees. Cam Schlittler going for the bad guys. I took some heat for liking the Yankees cover here. I thought I had enough dogs to not sound so much like a fucking donkey, but I guess not. You're still getting plus 140 on the run line. I don't think Sandoval's good. And I think Schlittler is really good. That was pretty much it for me. Yankees offense definitely has struggled. However, right, but. The power stuff is definitely starting to shake. Yankees v. lefties last 30 days. 27.5 line drive, 40% hard hit, 9% barrel, ex-Wobicon north of 400. Right, that's your damage metric. And that's the exact, 400 is excellent. Anything above 380, you have the kind of eyebrow up. And then the rest we just need from Schlittler. Yankees bullpen's also been excellent. Not to dismiss the Red Sox bullpen. So when I look for a cover, I'm not saying a kill job here. I just think this is more like 3-1, 4-1. But I'm also worried, that Sandoval just gets annihilated. Man, Yankees team total is 3.5, minus 145. That's like shit. I know the price is a pretty big difference. 145 team total. Plus 145 run line. But shit, man. You know what I mean?
Shit.
getting to 4 feels like a much more realistic than, again, I know it's reflected in the price. But man, going to 4, having to get to 4 runs in this one feels like it's a little bit safer than needed to win by 2. Toast, for the record, was on the Boston money line. And you know what? I have to concede at least this, that Boston's probably too good of a team to be a plus 145 dog or whatever. And then it dawned on me. I don't think I've ever done this before. Right? We talk about blend bets. Now, generally, I like to blend bets that are not mutually exclusive, that can hit together or whatever. But like, shit. If you split Red Sox money line and Yankees run line, like, you're covered pretty well. You're covered pretty well. But I guess the bullpen in the games makes a good argument to keep it close. But to me, it feels like if the Yankees get it, it's because Sandoval collapsed. And if not, and he's good, maybe the Red Sox just win this one. And if you lose, it's not any different than had you bet on, Yankee money line in the first place. So I don't know if that was smart or not. I'm having trouble keeping coherent thoughts together right now. But I promise you, I'm doing the very best I can with what little skill and brains the big guy upstairs gave me. Next up, we got Mariners and Blue Jays. This one got listed late. I was surprised. They're both on regular rest. I thought maybe the Mariners were going to skip Hancock or something was wrong. But for right now, I guess we're up because all the sports books kind of have them listed. Founding father Emerson John Hancock on the bump for the M's. He's plus 166 underdog north of the border to face Dillon, stop, cease, and desist for the Blue Jays. Granted, Cease has been fucking fantastic. But, man, hard to make Hancock in the M's right now as constituted this heavy of a dog, just realistically. If you're telling me, the entire handicap is based on home road splits for Hancock, first of all, I'd say, damn, they really keep popping up. There's that news van again. But also, I don't know if I'm buying it. The Cease stuff is really strong. I get you. Cease has been everything. And getting better as we get down the stretch. Unhittable at home. Just incredible. And while Hancock has had rougher splits on the road, he's still pitching to a 119 whip, 13 KBB, 3.5 ERA. I mean, again, it's not great. But he's not a gas can. And I feel like, again, I keep using that R word. But I feel like he's representative. He's not shit. And that price, guy should be shit. And when I talk about defaulting to favorites, I feel like this is one of those spots we say, I'm just going to kind of rely on the pitching. Where, in reality, that's the worst way to do this. Because you have to score runs. And do you trust Toronto to score against anybody? And I don't. Again, that's been, I've called it defaulting to favorites. I've now found comfort in kind of believing in that. Right? Sometimes naming something. Never say my name, Bastion. Say my name. You got to name the nothing. I call it the nothing. So sometimes kind of having a label on something maybe helps you understand it and digest it a little bit more. And it's easy to say, yeah, do I think the Blue Jays win? Yeah, I fucking think they win. They're minus 180 favorites. What kind of analysis is that? It's whether or not you think they're worth paying, a 64% implied probability on. And that's where shit gets a little bit hairy. You could easily pitch me something on the under also, but that number is at 7. I don't like to go under the hard 7. Mariners offense hasn't been good either. I felt like I got trolled into oh my God, the Mariners are fucking back. And it's not really. Cal Raleigh hit a couple of runs, but that's it. They've been bad L14, they've been bad L7, and it's the same kind of disciplinary issues that have haunted them all year. So as I talk through this, my answer is probably the under, just because I think runs will be at a premium. But I have a half a mind to say that I think the sharp bet might be Mariners F5. I can't find the first 5. MGM didn't list it, so I don't know. I wonder if that had something to do with the funniness of the late list or whatever before that I was talking about. All right, so that's enough on that. I guess I think it's under, and it's easy to say Toronto will win, but I've got a half a mind to say this line is off. It's off. It's a little too much on the pitching, and I'm tired of betting like that. Next up, we got Rockies. We got Braves. Tomo, Yuki Sagano on the bump for the Rocks on the road versus Grant Holmes, the Fu Manchu, down in the Dirty Dirty. TV, good to see you. We were just shouting you out, Playman. We talked about you all day last night, too. I was saying I can't wait to partake in the group chat when the Brewers get into the fucking playoffs. Trevor doesn't hate the Mariners. Offense has come to a little bit lately. I could right. Cease will shove, but Blue Jays offense going to do anything. And to you, my friend, I say, think about it. What I'm talking about. That it's just easy to be like, oh, well, you picked Toronto because Cease has been so good. You can't really do that. Do you think Toronto is going to score? And you better have a pretty high level of confidence. Now, that Mariner bullpen has been a little bit exciting. So, like, I kind of forgot to mention it. And if that was your point, that you think the Blue Jays kind of outlast them, I guess I'd give you that too. Regardless, I still think it's expensive. All right, let's get back into the matter at hand. Listen, the Rockies are shit, and I get it. And Sagano is not very good, and I get it. But Grant Holmes and the way these Braves are playing right now should not be a minus 225 favorite. That's what it is. Right? So if that's what I get from hanging out with the Source Network crew, this has made me a better. Legit. It's just sometimes looking at the board and saying, fuck that. That's bullshit. You know what I mean? That's bullshit, man. That's bullshit.
Erroneous.
Word.
Erroneous on both counts.
It is erroneous on both counts, Vince Vaughn. Very hard to make a bull case for Sagano. He's kind of sucked. If anything, he doesn't walk guys, and we like that. But other than that, it's obviously been pretty brutal. You know, you can make excuses for him that he pitches in cores. He's not been great on the road either. It's all kind of jag stuff. Again, Sagano is not good. But neither is Grant Holmes. And if you're going to pitch me like a 3.76 ERA argument, I'd say his whip is worse than Sagano's, right? They have basically the same Sierra. They have the same K minus BB. Like they have the same first strike rate at 59. You just are missing me with that. You know, Holmes gets barreled up all the time. He gives up a ton of home runs. He's not been good at home. I'm just not, I'm not buying it. I mentioned the Braves offense just briefly because I forget if it was Toast or Kyle, maybe it was just inside my mind, where someone was talking, it might have been a comment actually, where it's like, oh, aren't the Braves, the Braves are hitting. Maybe Kyle mentioned the winning against the Dodgers. But the fact is, the numbers are the numbers, and the numbers don't lie. I did it again. The Braves have not hit righties for shit. This is 2 weeks versus righties, 320 plate appearances. Not really cherry picked. 300 PAs is a decent sample. Remember, I like that number because you can multiply it by 2 and you get a full player season. All my fantasy herbs know what I'm talking about. Like a Steamer 600, we smooth out plate appearance numbers to put everybody on an equal field, right? Equal footing, let me say. Braves at 320 times 2, 640. Full player season. Right, 700, very hard to get to. 600 is normally what we use. 640 is healthy. What do you do with this player? 220 batting average, 534 OPS, 6 home runs, 20% KBB, 35 chase, 292 xWOBA. That's like an insta demotion. So again, I'm not making the case for the Rockies so much as I'm making the case for the Rockies. I think this number is fucking broken, and I want to bet the Rocks to win this one outright and give like the, that's like giving the donkeys the fucking F you. Because there's going to be people that are just smashing the button for the Braves, and I think it's patently fucking absurd. Now, if I'm going to do the lotto thing, I'm going to do the parlay thing today, maybe. Don't think less of me, but maybe. Maybe I'll move that to Colorado run line. It's minus 110. which is like, that's a crazy number to get where you could fucking lose a game in a decent spot. But also, last thing, we always talking about pricing. It's not a great fucking deal. It's not a great deal. I think if you think what the fuck I think. I think if you think the Rockies have a chance to win this one, which I do, reflected in the model, I think you bet them at the heavy price, lower your risk, work out the math, and kind of go from there. Next up, we got Rangers. We got Brewers Crew. I should have known TVJ was going to get up in here just in time for Weapon X, Logan Henderson on the bump for the Cheesemakers. They're at home hosting Cody Bradford and the Texas Rangers. Rangers plus 150. I'll be honest, I initially saw Bradford plus 150 and was like, ooh. However, right, but. The more I looked at it, the more I was like, nah, player. Nah. Bradford is pitching to a 3.05 ERA, and I think maybe that's what I had kind of stuck anecdotally in my fantasy craw. Because his whip is at 140, that dog don't hunt. Expected ERA at 5.25. All the other indicators up near 5, right? He's not been good. And the regression monster comes for everybody, including really good pitchers. You're going to be like Bradford. I think you're going to get in trouble. Now, granted, he's filled the zone and not offered free passes, and that's always a good thing. But, you can't get away with this, brother. You know what I'm saying? 47 fly ball, 44 hard hit, 12% barrel. He's given up 1 home run in 20 2/3. That's a 3.2% homer to fly ball rate. That dog don't hunt, brother. That dog do not hunt. Give me Logan Henderson, who by all intents and purposes should fucking shove today. I don't know how they get a hold of him. He's closing in on a 25 KBB, 31% ball, 67 first strike, 35 chase. Got to love the approach metrics from Henderson. He does work up in the zone, can be a little bit worrisome with the home runs, but I think the Texas offense will do us some favors there. They've only hit 4 long balls off righties in 2 weeks. That's 225 plate appearances. They strike out entirely too much. 27K, 13.5 swing strike, 82 zone contact, 4.5 barrel. Logan Henderson should kind of hang out with the wang out, stick out with the dick out, rock out with the cock out. Plus, the Brewers have the big-time edge at the end of the game. I like the Brewers to cover this one up. Oh, there are the good blend bet also. So who else did we mention? This is a good blend play. It is. I'm getting tempted to do the right thing and straight bet and build a responsible ticket. But I gotta deal with my fucking mentals, man. And when the Angels and the Dodgers both blew 9th inning walk-offs, it was unhealthy how sick I felt. I take a lot of pride in my stoicism, in leading by example. I don't get too high. I don't get too low. Sometimes I get too high, but I try not to get too low on my bets. And I was in a dark place, going through some shit. I went into a dark place. And the second that happens, this is the difference between the adults and the children, the professionals and not. Don't let anyone tell you, oh, a fucking pro always not wipes, shakes it off. That's not true. Granted, if it gets in the way for months and months and months and months and months, maybe there's a deeper issue. But if you're like me and you've bet a fucking 200 days in a row or whatever, and you take a couple days off, that's just called being responsible. Legit. It's okay, everybody. It's funny how many people ask me about that. Like, man, I think when you start losing, you should pull the plug on live betting and go into combine mode. You don't have to lose, right? We kind of choose to lose. I didn't want to derail. All right, I'll do it another day. I was going to do my favorite lesson, but we can't do it right now. So, yeah, give me the Brewers and the cover. You can see I had that one up there at plus 130. I love that fucking play. It's down probably closer to plus 125 now, but I still think that's a winner. Next up, we got White Sox and Twins. Everybody's fucking darling White Sox. Fuck the White Sox, man. They're right around even money on the road. Luis Castillo on the hill for the Pale Hose. Down in the Twin Cities to face Dean, Krispy Kremer, and the Twinks. I was joking around, but it's the truth. I used to make this joke the first iteration of the Corked Stats show, back when I had the curtain in the back. Kremer, I don't know anything about this, so don't tell on me. But it's a good thing it is. My assumption, these are Lego plays. My assumption is Dean Kremer has a smoking hot wife who puts it on him every game day, right? Every time he's about to go out there, first thing in the morning, he gets it put on him. His favorite breakfast is there. After he's done eating breakfast, he's playing Legos with the fucking kids. They are just wrestling, having a great time. Then he goes out and he shoves because this guy is just notoriously amazing at home, regardless of environment. He transferred over from Baltimore to Minnesota. So I'm telling you, you got to think Krispy Kremer's wife is a fucking rocking the glazed donut. You know what I mean? I don't trust Castillo as far as I could throw him. Fuck Castillo. I don't think he's very good. Now, Creamer is the opposite side. I do think there's potential there. A 5.22 ERA through 59 starter innings is entirely too high for a 118 whip. We understand this. The disciplinary stuff is not bad. We'd like to see him control the zone a little bit more. He's been a little bit unlucky with the left on base stuff and certainly unlucky with some of the homer fly ball. 20 homer fly ball is crazy, even if you're going to get to the point that I wanted to make with him, is that the four-seamer is bad. He throws it too much. They're starting to throttle it. This is a good thing. But, he does struggle with homers. If the Twins drop this one, that'll probably be at the fail point. But I'm not sure I'm trusting the White Sox offense because they swing and mitch too much, too many ground balls, too many strikeouts, trying to be too cute and too patient. I think Creamer has a decent setup here. Flip side, Twins offense also not great. But what do they do? I say do. What do they do? Something this team has telegraphed and talked about for years. Some of us fantasy herbs have been on this for years. Twins brought in hitting coaches that have specifically targeted, pulled, elevated, batted balls. Why? Because it's how you win baseball games. The distance between home plate and the pole is significantly shorter than home and center, home and left center, home and right center. Look no farther than Fernando Tatis, who had like the best barrel rate in the fucking league, but he couldn't hit a damn home run because his left foot was pointed too far towards center field. He wasn't pulling barrels, and other players were getting home runs on much worse struck balls. It matters directionally. So anytime you have a guy like Castillo that's going to force feed the zone with lots of four-seamers against a team like Minnesota, they're going to be live to score. So I think that's the pathway for success as far as the Twins goes. The bullpen is kind of giving me fits as the White Sox are starting to pitch well. Maybe you want this one F5. If not, I think it's got to be a over or nothing. That was fucking flow state shit right there, man. Hey. There it is. I mean, I got OCD. I got to get my fucking noise going. Next up, it's Jared Jones and the Buccos on the road, -120 favorites against St. Louis and Quinn Matthews. Man, I was originally on the under. It was 8. It's now at 7.5. I think I'm off the total and moving to the Pirates. I think Jones has the pitching edge. And listen, what's his face? Matthews might end up being okay at a certain point. But with O'Neal Cruz back, I think we can have at least a tiny bit of faith in the Pirates. I almost call them the Patriots. I mean, I'm ready for football, yo. Jones has the much better swing and miss stuff, like there's no question. Matthews has been a little bit better with the command and the elevation stuff. Not sure it's enough to get me over the finish line to believe in the Cardinals. I'd probably call the offense as a wash. Maybe you like the Cardinals a little bit better than the Pirates, and I think that would be fair. Again, I'm kind of thinking more like O'Neal Cruz is the rising tide that lifts all ships. If you're not buying my bullshit with the Pirates, I think you should be on the over because the Cardinals bullpen is completely collapsed. They're stretched right now. Riley O'Brien back-to-back, Soriano back-to-back, Brule through 41 pitches, he's unavailable. Graceffo through almost 40 pitches, he's probably unavailable. Ferguson 2 of 3 and Gasolin back-to-back. So I don't know where they're going to go for big outs. I like Riley O'Brien. I like him less if it's his third straight. They would also have to get in a situation where he's getting the rock. So I wish I was getting – I wish I didn't sit on that fish. I wish I was getting a little bit of a better price. But I don't think the Cardinals are very good. I think we're short selling the Pirates just a little bit. Give me the Bucks to win this one. Pretty much assuredly, it's going to end up in my parlay later on. Next up, we got Phillies. We got Angels. Oh, this is a good one. Shout out Jacob Hughes. Right, that's Jake, the side guy. Big shout out to that entire crew, man. I also Lopez, what's going on? Says, yo, shouting out the Spartans, looking to smash the Bucks. You know it, playa.
What is your profession?
Yo, let's fucking get him. Now, granted, Jake likes the Phillies. He's also, I thought it was a joke. I'd never seen anything like it. How in touch he is with the Phillies and to have it show up in the betting record. He records all of his shit. He's very transparent. He's trustworthy and very serious. It's insane that he was like, the last I checked, it was like 20-something fucking games over 500. And I get some of those, the Phillies are a favorite, but you still got to get those right. And I know I've been wrong in a couple of the, like, Jesus Luzardo games or whatever. So, Jake was carpet bombing us with some Andrew Painter propaganda. And he did have me kind of doing the, raising the eyebrow. Shout out my guy. I invite all scrutiny and criticism. I think that's how we all get better. Right? And I've told people I'm not buying that. I think differently. This one, I think he might be onto something. I am still sticking with my guns for right now that I want to see a little bit more. The reason I say that, and I'm the first one to call out diagnostics and improvements, I'm a pitching herb. I love that shit. That's it. A lot of times, these things happen and take time to kind of, I don't know, germinate, galvanize, whatever the word is. So let's get into it. Andrew House Painter on the bump for the Phils. They're minus 140 favorites on the road against Reed Detmers and the Angels. I'm going to be honest. I didn't even put a ton of thought into it at first. I was like, Angels are winning this one outright. I think Detmers is a better pitcher. I think the Phillies are a better offense, though they're definitely more vulnerable against lefties. I was thinking F5 because I wanted to jump on Painter, thinking, Detmers kind of get me in and out. When that line came out, it came out with a negative in front of it, meaning that the Angels are probably minus 108 on the F5. I don't want to give up the plus money because you could still get them at plus 120. We know when Detmers is good, he'll go 6 and 7. Angels bullpen has also been fucking great. I know they let me down, you motherfuckers. I needed that win emotionally, which again, hold on. You know what's funny? I say it half kidding, but it was fucking true. And that's like the real sign, right? When you are when you're hinging your attitude on the result of a game, you've overdone it. You either have betting too much or you need a break. It's the truth. I swear that's the truth. And I was thinking you start thinking please, come on, I need this. I need this one. We're down bad right now. I'm going through some shit. I need this win. It's going to make me look smart. It's going to get me back on the horse. I'm going to feel great, right? I'm going to get a plus 125 underdog win. The Angels are going to seal this. And they went out and they didn't, right? Now, in reality, what the fuck does that game have to do with my real life and how I conduct myself as a fucking human being? It doesn't. Right? So when those things start to overlap, right, real life, acuity, real life fucking attitude and results, you got to step away. You don't got to give up. You don't have to seek help. I hate when people do that shit. There's other levels to this shit. I think when you nip shit in the bud, it keeps it from spinning off the rails, right? And that's why I've been able to bet on baseball every day for fucking 5 years, because there's little spots in the middle. And even if I don't straight bet through September, man, I really hope we hit a lotto or fucking two and kind of validate my stupidity. Anyway, so the idea was Painter had fixed his grip and that they were, reaping the rewards. Again, if you're just kind of box score chasing, you're seeing that. However, from what I understand, it wasn't just the last start, and he gave up 5 before that. He gave up 5 to the Twins. Again, that same thing where they hit home runs. If you're going to miss, they're going to pull you out. That's what happened to Painter. I fear that's kind of part of the handicap today also. No, I don't like the Angels offense. Who likes the Angels offense? Nobody. But what do they do is hit for power when they can make contact. That said, I couldn't help but give it a lot of validity. And then I started thinking maybe the play was the under. So I don't know. I'm kind of pumping the brakes a little bit. I still, I mean, I have them modeled for a win. I have the Angels modeled for a win. I do not have some major adjustment baked in for Painter where now, he's the guy that went 7, gave up 1, walked none, struck out 8 against kind of a shitty Cardinals team. Maybe the Angels are not that far behind the Cardinals, and he goes out and does it again. So I want to make sure that I'm kind of framing this properly, that there is a cause for bullishness surrounding Painter. I just think you're already paying that, right? Like if I thought Painter was really good, I still might think minus 140 was a lot because I know that Detmers is really good, right? That's the thing. We know Detmers is good. Detmers has a 106 whip through 149 innings. So I do like the Angels to win. Maybe I like that under a little bit more at the 8. And if I'm going to parlay, maybe I pay it up to 8.5, where then I have to feel confident or, we're doing this well. Who's next here? Okay, we got Orioles and we got A's. I was telling him, man, I told Kyle. I had dogs barking, Brandon Forever Young on the bump for the O's. He's a minus 143 favorite against Jake the Snake Lopez and the Athletics. Again, I'm telling you, it's the sauce guy's rubbing off on me. I just have to call bullshit on this. And I like Brandon Young. I was the guy. I was that guy. What the fuck? You want to tell me about Brandon Young? I tell you, don't tell me about Brandon Young. I tell you about Brandon Young. But I think we've jumped the shark here. The argument for Young was always he was a plus 130 underdog. Now he's a minus 143 favorite. Does he have, I normally ask myself this, right? Does he have the ceiling case that Lopez has? And for me, that is like a clear and unequivocal no. Young, again, has been okay. But Young and Lopez, I don't get how Young is even considered really like the better pitcher. Lopez really had a rough start out of the box. To me, he's kind of corrected. He's kind of corrected course. And I think on a per inning basis or a per game basis, when he's going, I mean, listen to the game log for Lopez. And again, this is just he's getting dinged for, again, having started the season so poorly. Up through the first week of July, Lopez had a 7 ERA. I mean, ridiculous. He had 34 walks in 53 innings. Again, that dog don't hunt. They pulled him out, right, of the starting role. Then in the second half, 6 starts. He has a 2.10 ERA. He has 41 Ks. Same kind of 34 inning sample, but only 11 walks. Jake the Snake has been incredible. Going backwards, 6 gave up 1 at Houston. 6 gave up 2 versus Texas. 7 gave up 2 versus the Rays. 5 gave up 2 in Cincinnati. 5 1/3 gives up 1 versus Boston. 5 shutout versus the Twins. Jake the Snake has been good. Half of those starts are at home also. I think we're misplacing this. If you're pushing back with the Orioles versus lefties, I'm getting some love for some shit. I go in these rants and I forget what I was talking about. But yeah, I appreciate you. Hopefully we're getting some of that also, right? We're not just doing numbers. We're not just telling ass jokes. We're kind of learning. We're talking about being adults, how to represent ourselves. But that also feeds into how to do this properly. I'm going through this with my daughter, trying to learn math. You can't do this upset because this game is won on the margins. Bad decisions affect bad attitudes affect your decision-making ability on the margins. So there's your fucking easy calculus. You know what I mean? Now, granted, nose, this is a good one. Stop playing A's home games in May. Too wacky a place to play for me. I talk about that all the time, right? Playing games in the moon. If that's your counter, or if it's that the Orioles have hit lefties, I think those are the two valid arguments. Marcus Jordan, Guan. 9.5 in this park. He's definitely taking the over. Now, granted, I'm modeled right to it. I hear you barking, dog. It's hard to back the A's because the bullpen's so bad. It's hard to back the A's in this ballpark. I totally get it. Now, I don't automatically go over, though. The last time I looked, Sacramento, whatever it's called, the Sutter Home fucking Health Ballpark of America or whatever, was like really seriously outpacing all the other ballparks as far as like, craziness. Homer to fly ball, barrel to fly ball, and all that shit. I know Coors is still BABIP heaven, but this park is crazy. TV, brother, I'm with you, kid. Feels like a nice price for the A's, but damn, couldn't have said it better myself. Shit. You know what the books are trying?
An offer you can't refuse.
Make him an offer you can't refuse. But what happens when you bring in the A's bullpen? You blew it. 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 All right, last but not least, before the last game, I pull my hammers out and start to jiggle them and ask you for your support. The show takes a fucking ton of work, and you get all the tools. Please support if you can. Like and subscribe to the video. Shit matters more than it should. If you really can find it in your heart and you're half serious about baseball and or football, I know football doesn't happen every day the way baseball does. I think the data might be more valuable. These differentials and split stuff, very difficult to get your hand on. And when you do, it's usually very expensive. And let's say you can get it and it's free. Can you do it for less time than you value $2 a week? That's where I think I got you. So I think it's a leg up in the information war for a lot of kind of, not say average Joes, but average Joes. Like people that want to bet and want to understand better what's going on. There's no avenue for that, and I feel like I'm providing it. Everything is neat. Everything is simple. Everything is sortable. And if you have questions, not only will I answer them, if we come to a conclusion where something is missing to get you to the play that you're looking for, I just fucking add it. And that's part of why the sheets are so fucking good. It's the truth, man. I wish I could take credit. V1 of these sheets sucked balls. I got to take my L. It is what it is. However, over the years, you get enough sharp people that are willing to kind of help and contribute. But, help me help you. Help me help you. Help me help you. Right? If there's something, this is a Toast thing. Toast was asking if I could grab or enhance the split pitcher stuff. I did it for him. Same for the home away stuff. Those are all recommendations. If I got it and can provide it, I do. I just don't want to give everything. No one needs 5 million stats. I try to keep it clean without overdoing it. You know what I mean? It's a gentle balance. But for football, drive efficiency, man and zone, EPA, all the fucking player shit. Plus, we doing projections, all the modeling and stuff. I don't know how you could beat it for the cost. I don't think I charge enough, but in my mind, I was going to get a ton, just a million regular Joes. You know what I mean? Just a million fucking people that understand that I think you do need a little boost if you're going to compete in this kind of quant-driven world. All right, enough of that bullshit. I have no interest in this last game for what it's worth. I know Kyle was just like, I don't want to talk about it. I hear you, bro. Cole Drake on the bump for the Snakes with shapes in their back. He's a minus 126 favorite. I don't think he should be on the road against Sling Blade Tidwell. Shouldn't have done that. It's just a boy. And the Giants, I don't know. Giants 104 on the dog at home. I've got the model for a slight win. The thing with this that I'm worried about, I've had every fucking Giant game to the over. I'm even like adjusting for the ballpark. Don't make no. It's not my first fucking rodeo. But like, I don't know, man. For some reason, I'm over on the Giants every day. I think the totals are entirely too low. This one also, 2 fucking nobodies on the bump. Not great bullpens. Guys that don't go deep. Who's pitching the 5th and the 6th? Yet the total is 7.5. I have trouble wrapping my mind around it. To me, 7.5. I'm actually seeing a couple 8s, but 7.5 is like reserved for good pitchers, and I don't think we're getting that. So I don't know, man. I would just leave this one alone. I think it's kind of stupid. Josh says, when I fix my Discord, I'll get you and Trevor's. Okay, yeah, I'm not really a big Discord guy. I don't have a lot of bandwidth for like extra group chats and stuff. But I'm down. Jackfish says I'm down when I pull out the fucking melons. Dude, you gotta shake what you gave you. I have it on good authority that I lost to fucking T-Math. I was gonna be the chief jiggling officer. I got the fucking hammers, but I had a little bit of that fucking hamburger meat hanging out. I'm not a hairy mammal. I'm like a fucking sea otter. You know what I mean? Against the general Italian stereotypes. But no, they went for the looks and the real female breast instead of my big, beautiful fucking man tits. But what could you do? Chalk up a fucking L for gorilla tits everywhere. You gotta have fucking fun doing this shit. You gotta take knocks at yourself. Trust me. When people talk shit about me, that's the first fucking thing they want to do, make fun of my weight. Fuck you, bro. First of all, I wasn't always a fat piece of shit. I got a smoking hot wife. I got fucking beautiful kids. Man, nobody's fucking perfect. You think I want to be fat? No, but We all have our fucking struggles, and I think that's really important to understand. Kind of ties in to all the other lessons we were talking about, yo. Focus on sustainability. Focus on what's fun for you. Focus on what's enjoyable. And I mean this from the bottom of my fat fucking heart. If you are still one of those people just thoroughly obsessed with straight betting as the only way to do this, my question is always, what ROI can you guarantee? And you look, I don't know, what do you mean guarantee? What guarantees? So that's the point. I used to subscribe to that, but I'm not financially illiterate, and I think that's a big problem in the space also. They only know betting, right? Manny Gotts. All they know is fucking Manny Gotts over in Brooklyn. When I was straight betting and grinding my cock off for a few percentage points, you couldn't get 4+% in money markets. Now you can. That's what you should be doing. Let's say you have 100K, and I know it takes money to make money. People look, that's whatever. Trying to make the ROI argument to people that are financially illiterate makes no sense. Oh, what's 2% ROI? I have $100. What's $2? Then what the fuck are you doing? So take 50 cents and try and hit the lotto every day. What the fuck are you doing? Was your plan to make 5,000% straight betting? No, I hope not, because that's not realistic. What is realistic? Take X, whatever you were going to fucking invest in sports betting. Take 95% of it and put it in a money market. Lock up. When you subtract it off the APY at 4+, you're going to have 3.25%, which, by the way, is better than I'm doing straight betting. We're positive, but not that good. And most people are not above that. It's very difficult to do that. But I have all the time saved from that working, right? Think about it. Right now, I've completely flipped. There's no shame in being a parlay bettor, providing it's part of a responsible financial plan. Mine is. I could go for eternity on every parlay I'm going to post from here for the end of the season because my profit is already locked up. That's where the entertainment purposes thing comes into play. It's like, oh, this jerk off doesn't care if he wins. I already locked up my wins, brother. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, didn't mean to go over the hour, but I think this shit really matters at the end of the day, right? The things that's going to keep you in the fucking arena and not constantly depositing is financial literacy, is understanding when to sit at the table, when to get out away from the table, how to attack it, and how these things all kind of work in a very gentle symbiosis. So from everybody here at Corked Stats, thanks for supporting the show. If you're still watching this shit, you're a fucking maniac. Enjoy the weekend, man. Enjoy the games. Enjoy the day. When we're done with the book, enjoy the pay. And remember, when you work this freaking hard,